please, just try to look like a lady. That's what my mom told me before meeting her new husband's family. She said it like a warning, as if the way I normally existed was something shameful. So I did what she asked. I looked like a lady. Powerful one. The kind that walks into a room and everyone stops talking. Intro call to action. Next 15 seconds. If you've ever been told to hide who you are just to make others comfortable, hit that like button. Because today's story is for every person who's ever been told to shrink themselves. This is a story about quiet rebellion, confidence, and one perfect moment of poetic justice. I've never been the dress and heels type. You know the kind, the flowy dresses, the pastel nail polish, the tiny clutch purse. No. My comfort zone. Clean lines, soft fabrics, slightly androgynous style. The kind of outfit that makes me feel like myself. Confident. But my mom never quite saw it that way. Ever since I was a kid, she'd try to nudge me toward what she called proper femininity. Makeup lessons I never asked for. Dresses that felt like costumes. Compliments like, "You'd be so beautiful if you just tried a little harder." I love my mom. Really do. But it's exhausting loving someone who's constantly trying to fix you. So when she remarried to a man I barely knew, I told myself I'd play nice. But then came the dinner. "They're very traditional," my mom said one night, smoothing out her skirt while glancing at me. Traditional? Yes. You know, polite. Conservative. Just please try to look like a lady. It's important to me. And that's when something inside me snapped a little. Not in anger. More like clarity. She wasn't asking me to respect them. She was asking me to erase myself again. The night of the dinner, I stood in front of my closet for almost an hour. My mom's words echoing in my head. Try to look like a lady. Fine. You want a lady. You'll get one. But not the one you had in mind. I pulled out my navy pantsuit. Sharp, structured, unapologetically powerful. A white silk blouse. Gold hoops. And eyeliner so clean and precise it could cut glass. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a girl trying to fit in. I saw a woman who knew exactly who she was, and refused to apologize for it. When I walked into the dining room, I could feel the air shift. The sound of silverware stopped. Every eye turned toward me, my mother's included. Her face said it all, polite smile, tight jaw, eyes screaming. "What are you wearing?" "Wow," she said finally. "You look very formal." "You said look like a lady," I replied with a smile. Mission accomplished. Her husband's family sat there, smiling, nodding, sipping wine. They were pleasant enough, but you could feel the judgment humming under the surface like static. The kind of polite bigotry that hides behind smiles and words like traditional. Halfway through the meal, his mother, my new step-grandmother I guess, tilted her head at me and said, "So dear, do you work in politics?" There was this beat of silence. Everyone turned to look at me, waiting to see how I'd respond. Smiled. "No, ma'am. I'm just dressing for the world I deserve." She blinked. My mom's fork froze midair. You could have heard a pin drop. And for the rest of the dinner, I sat tall, crossed one leg over the other, and smiled like the most composed CEO in a room full of interns. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. My confidence did all the talking. When the dinner finally ended, my mom didn't say a word in the car. Not one. Her silence was loud enough to rattle the windows. Finally, when we pulled into the driveway, she turned off the engine and said, "Why did you have to make a statement?" Her voice cracked. It wasn't anger, not really, it was embarrassment. Embarrassment that her child didn't blend in. I took a deep breath and looked at her. Because, Mom, I exist. And I'm not going to shrink to make people comfortable. Her eyes softened for just a second. Then she looked away, maybe realizing that this wasn't rebellion. This was truth. That night I went upstairs, took off my gold hoops, wiped off my eyeliner, and looked at myself in the mirror again. Same face, same girl, just freer. See, the revenge here wasn't loud. There were no shouting matches or dramatic exits. It was quiet, graceful, intentional. The kind of revenge that lives in presence. Because the real power wasn't in proving her wrong. It was in proving myself right. Every second I sat at that dinner table, calm and confident, was a declaration. I am not broken. I am not a disappointment. I am me. And that's the loudest revenge there is. Here's what I learned that night. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting the person who hurt you. It's about standing tall when they expect you to bow. It's about choosing yourself, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop apologizing for who you are, that's the moment you win. If this story hit home for you, if you've ever been told to be someone you're not, hit that like button. And tell me in the comments. When was the moment you finally decided to stop shrinking for others? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of quiet power, poetic justice, and the kind of revenge that changes everything.